Hello friends, we're going to look at Trinidad today, the western part, starting out in COCORITE and heading to CHAGUARAMAS. CHAGUARAMAS is the most western part of Trinidad, an island in the Caribbean that you can go, at least for the public. There is a point where you can go on to see the Defense Force base as well as the Coast Guard, but we're not going to go there today. We're staying on public roads. Where we are now, we're going towards the west, and we're passing through COCORITE. That's the name of the place. This is the western main road. On the left are large condos, and on the right is the Seventh-day Adventist Hospital. Now there's a new hospital that has recently been opened. It's called West Shore, and that's it. That's what we're passing right now. Now up ahead to the right is an interchange that is supposed to be built. It's not completed yet, but all here will change, at least the traffic system. Now if I had taken the right, that would lead me to Diego Martin. On the left is West Mall. And I have a video right where you see this walkover that we're passing under. I have a video where I take a whole look at the area. You may want to look for the poster for that, video for that on my channel. My channel is called JB's Man Cave. And while we're here waiting on this traffic light, let me tell you that on JB's Man Cave I don't only show driving videos, but videos about various other parts of the world, various issues and so forth. A lot of times people come and ask me for a certain place or location, and most of the time I have it already. So you can always ask in the comment section of this video if you're looking for some particular and can't find it. I'll try to put you on it. But there's lots more to just driving in Trinidad. I mean, I show a lot of Trinidad just because it so happens that I'm here. But when I go elsewhere, I also show those too. So we're passing through a place called West Moorings. It's a more affluent area. A lot of people think this bridge separates West Moorings, but West Moorings actually starts just before West Mall on the left. And West Moorings is divided into two parts. On the left is West Moorings by the sea, and on the right is just West Moorings or West Moorings North. Straight ahead on that mountain to the right, that's Goodwood Park, and to the left, that tower, I believe it's called is it Regent's Towers? It slips my mind what it's called. But just under that too is a place called Bayshore. You can see how big the houses are on the right. That's Goodwood Park. This is still the Western Main Road, and we're going west. Now it used to be that you could enter Goodwood Park on the right, and you could even see the tennis courts and stuff, but they're blocked off with shrubbery and security. That's Bayshore on the left that we're passing. This road has been here for ever since I was a kid, and it has never changed in that it's the same width, hasn't been made bigger. For me, there needs to be at least 4 lanes here. I mean, there isn't room really for that, but this is the only access point by road for people living in the west from here on. There should be another way for them to get where they're going. So on the left is an area called Shorelands, and if I take the road on the right, there would be another place called Glencoe, which I have a separate video for. I also have a video for Westmorelands and Shorelands and Bayshore. Actually, that's one video that encompasses those areas. But we're not going in any of those places today. We're sticking here on the Western Main Road and continuing west. That's a shopping area on the right. Drugstore, grocery store, junk food places, and so forth. Some of those junk food places you would recognize. Now here would be a place called Point Kumana. It's largely a fishing village, fishing area. It has been built up somewhat, but kind of looks the same. About the only thing that's been different since I was a kid is, of course, the lack of green and the fact that there's a lot more merchandising going on, business places, and it's more built up. You could see that, I don't know what it is, apartment building, flats, condo, up ahead, just above the houses in the center screen. Looks like it's currently being renovated or newly built or something. On the left is an access point for people to go fishing. On the left you can see the ocean. And on the right you get to see a place called Caranash. Now here again used to be more green, but it's being built up more and more. So the fishing area, fish market there. And on the left you can see houses going all the way up in the mountains. That is something that I did not see before as a kid. I mean, there were a few houses around, but it was more green. On the left you have access to the ocean. A lot of points here used to be places that people would sea bathe. I don't know if they still do that. I do know that the Baptists, which is a religion, they come in and perform certain rituals in these points here. But they also do it at a local church. I love this house here that on the right, the way it's built, very interesting with a huge deck. Must be a spectacular view from up there. See all these big, huge buildings, these gated off areas. These are all newly built. When I say newly, I mean it has been there for some years, but I'm talking in comparison to, you know, how most people who have probably gone abroad would not recognize a lot of these new instances of carnage and the buoys and so forth. That large building on the left is the Carnage police station. They have a health center and they have various other things here that again is being built up. They're doing some roadworks at the moment. There's currently a road patching project which I don't know if I'm in favor of it, because patching roads leads to potholes somewhere down the road as far as I'm concerned. I never see a good patched road. It's always a patch, and then that patch somehow falls apart. By the way, Trinidad and Tobago has some of the most numerous potholes among most of the islands in the Caribbean. Just so many. And we have our own asphalt lake, imagine that. Now, there's an area here it's called Alcoa, and that strange looking building with the silos, that used to be a aluminium smelter plant. I don't know if they're still using it for that purpose. It used to be that bauxite used to come from all the way from Guyana actually, and we would process it here. Not sure what that site's used for now. You can see all the seashore there. Now this was be a promenade on the left there. But getting access to it is not easy because really there isn't much places to park. Some people like to take a chance, but really it's very difficult. There's a parking area here on the left. Sometimes it's a bit busy, but today is kind of rainy, so there aren't many people there. I knew it was gonna rain. I could see the clouds coming from the east, but my family were insistent on going out here. Now on the left there, you see that kind of strange object? That was a adventure park, or it had rides and a mini golf area and stuff. But the pandemic, I believe, bankrupted, so it wasn't serviced anymore. On the left there also used to be a place where you could go on those pedal boats. And you see the barriers on the left there, that's a place for cyclists to be. So you could bring your bike essentially and cycle all here along the shoreline. And nobody should disturb you, but I have seen cars try to go through there and park along this trail road. So if you did come with your bike, you would still have to worry about cars and pedestrians. But really, cars are not supposed to be there, and it's really not a pedestrian walk. It is for cyclists. And the road here is relatively flat, so it wouldn't be too hard. Now, an interesting part here is that if you turn right, that would take you to I believe it's Tucker Valley Road and another beach called Macrae Beach, which I do have another video for. On the left there is a Five Islands resort thingamajig. That's where you could go karting and go on some rides. You know, like a mini, I would call it, maybe version of Six Flags. On the right is a defense force place. It's the military. Yeah, you can catch some of the go-karts going there. A lot of this area was used a lot by the North Americans from the USA. They used to house their World War II stuff here. That's why all these warehouses are still up there, still exist from that time period. That warehouse on the left, the Miss Universe contest was once held here, and that's where it was held, right there. A strange place, I know. On the left is a place called Small Boats. Mainly small yachts come in and they dock there. Again, with the way everything is laid out in this country, it's hard to see the ocean. To me, the highlight should always be the ocean. But it always seems like there's always some tree or building or house or something blocking it. So you only get bits and pieces of it. Now you're supposed to park on the right, but as you can see, some people still park on the left. During the pandemic, the CDC, which has its own police force, that's the CHAGUARAMAS Development Corporation, I believe they call it, um, would patrol here often, looking for people even hinting at being around the ocean, and they would tell them to basically get lost. But now it's with the pandemic gone, it's all free for all. Now, usually the hair would be nice, bright and sunny with lots of green, but again, it's a cloudy day. On the way back, you'll actually see a lot of rain hitting us, and you'll get to see what it's like driving here in the rain. One thing that's improved from other videos that you may have seen where I recorded in the area is the road itself. They've done a good job of paving this road. It was terrible to drive on last time I was here. It was just rumbling and gravel and potholes everywhere, but they have done a good job of paving it over. Now on the left used to be again military areas, but now it's used for repairing boats, servicing boats. Foreigners can come in and dock there, and then somewhere along here, the line here, they would get a bus or maybe a maxi that would take them into Port of Spain or anywhere around the areas where you've already seen us travel in this video. One of the things you can do in this area too is also get a boat to go down the other islands. We have satellite islands. Now you see that place on the left there? Those used to be, as a kid I remember, would come there and they used to make bakes, fried bakes or floats as you say in North America, and they would sell it with cheese melted. Now those days as a kid I used to love to eat that. I don't eat cheese anymore because now I'm vegan. I don't eat any animal products or products from any animal. But I'm just remembering the days of when you could do that. I don't know how many of you remember that, being able to go there and buy that. Now, you can see a lot of development on both the right and the left. A lot of ship repairs, I don't want to say shipbuilding, but repairs of big ships, maybe augmenting modification of ships goes on around here. Also the University of Trinidad and Tobago also has a place here, and just a lot of different things going on that never used to exist. Mostly when people came down here when I was a kid was to go to Chacacabana, which we'll see in a moment. And in that place you could actually go and swim in the water, and it was a really nice experience until they started to build up the area and do the shipbuilding and ship repairs, and then the water became very oily and you could not use it anymore, and it was really sad because it was one of the better beaches that you could go to. So Chacacabana had to actually put in a pool, and people use the pool but not the seawater. Isn't that kind of silly? That's it on the left there, but you can hardly see it again because everything's kind of blocked off. Maybe one day I'll get around to doing a video of that specifically. One thing they did that was very nice is they put some housing for tourists on the right. Some interesting designs to that. Never been in myself, but looking from a distance, they look good, but they look like they could also do with some maintenance. So that's Chacacabana on the left. Normally you could have just walked through, but they have people to kind of curtail movement. And you have to be there for a reason. And because the seawater is no good, they know you would have to be using their facilities. So pretty much this is as far as you can go. Now you see that guard booth on the left there, that's the guards for the defense force. Basically you would have to either be part of the defense force or have permission to enter there. You can't go beyond this point. And that's kind of sad because it would have been nice if there was a road that kind of looped around West Trinidad and started back north, but there isn't. So we have to turn around here. But in turning around, you'll get to see the trip back to towards COCORITE. However, in part of this trip, it will start to rain a lot. Some of you may like seeing that kind of thing and see all the dark clouds. The only thing I don't like about recording when it's raining like that is everything takes on a gray appearance. I believe since I started making videos more often, I really had to appreciate sunny days and days when the sun really comes out, it's not cloudy, or I'm not fighting with Saharan dust, because everything just appears different, more brilliant. You really see the difference when it's a cloudy day or a rainy day. I mean, how dull and gray everything starts to look. So on the left is where you would park your car, and on the right is where you normally get, hire a boat to take you to another satellite island like Gaspar Grande, where there's a cave that you can see, and then there's some other small islands, satellite islands, that have some history to them. I don't know what the cost of going on a boat is now, but that's one part of tourism that you can take up if you ever come to Trinidad and Tobago. Try and get down to the other satellite islands. Something that used to be around here too a lot were World War II mines. They used to have a lot of them lining the mountains. After World War II was finished, they took all the mines out of the seawater and they just rested them in the mountains. Any of you can remember that? They have since been removed at great costs, I believe, to the government. And in this place has been all these buildings, new buildings, shopping areas and stuff. But while things wanted, the CDC wanted to build up the area, I find it's kind of slow moving. And a lot of that can be because of the one entrance and exit to this part of Trinidad. It's just difficult. There should be more access points. I believe a former government wanted to build a road in the sea. How many of you remember that, in order to access down here faster? But of course that project never came to light. But that would have been good. A lot of people park their boats around here. You get a lot of travelers from other countries, and a lot of people think that tourists come, only by plane, but a lot of them do sail, and they come here sailing their boats. Not sure how customs handle that, because there's a lot of boats coming in. How do they check who can be here, who cannot be here, and so forth? By the way, from here, the access point to Venezuela is only 8 miles, so you do get a lot of people from Venezuela starting out their journey to Trinidad in these areas. And you can see how rainy it is now. My family wanted to come out here and walk around and take in some sea breeze and whatnot, but as you can see, it's not a time for that. When the rain is like this, I usually leave my vehicle lights on because I don't know, some people get blinded by the weather and they don't pay attention to people that's to their rear or to the side. And my truck is a silver color, so it kind of matches or blends in with the color of rain hitting the road, that gray appearance. So turning on my lights, especially my floodlights as well, helps people to know you're there. Do you like driving in the rain? As I grow older, and especially driving a truck and a manual truck, I honestly have to say that, well, when I was a missionary in England, we used to have to drive a lot, and all the vehicles there are also manual. And I can only say I don't really care for driving much anymore, especially in Trinidad where there's a lot of crazy driving, bad roads, and so forth. It's more like an ordeal as taking on stress, so I don't really care for driving, but I know a lot of people just love to drive. I don't know what it is about it, but they just love it. They love vehicles and whatnot. That might be their thing. Is that your thing? You can always tell me in the comments area. I like to read some of your comments, hear what you have to say, especially those of you who share your experiences of these areas. I really like reading those, especially because it helps me to reflect on things that I may have forgotten as a kid, but it also tells me there are a lot of things that were before my period as well. Some of you have said given me some history that I was surprised about. So we're passing the defense force area on the left and the Five Island Adventurers place on the right. That place on the right, that used to be open land, open beach that you could actually access and go to the beach. And it was privatized for them to put up that thing. But it's a beach I never liked too much because it always had a lot of seafood. Not seafood, seaweed. And lots of rocks, little rocks. So it wouldn't be a nice sandy beach. And I didn't care for it. I mean, we went there to swim once or twice, but other people liked it. There's another beachfront here too, coming up on the right that I don't really care for too much. I mean, I have been there, I have swam there, but it's kind of the same thing. Lots of rocks, and when I say rocks, really mostly like pebbles, small stones and stuff. And it also had a lot of seaweed and seagrass. So you'd walk on what seemed to be like a grassy bottom, which was kind of weird. And it's pretty shallow there as well. It's not very deep. But part of it is the promenade that you can walk and the bicycle trail. We're on the Western Main Road and we are heading towards the east, exiting the CHAGUARAMAS area. Even with all the development, there's still a lot of underdevelopment in this area. And more can be done, I feel. They tried with all these different projects, but like I said, having these different adventure places and whatnot is fine, but they're very expensive for many trainees. So if you had a family, a large family, or even a medium family, coming to these places out here could run you maybe quarter of a person's salary. So it's not easy. Now on the right there is the promenade, and you wouldn't normally be able to see some of these satellite islands. You could pick up the outline a bit there, but the day is not good. So you can see someone head to one of those islands. Actually, is a prison. Some of the worst offenders would go there. I believe the area is in shark-infested waters, so even if somebody were to escape, jumping in the waters will not be an easy task. That's the bauxite place I was talking about up ahead. Alcoa. Not even sure if it's used for that purpose anymore. Bauxite and aluminium processing, that is. That's my hand wiping the screen, just keeping it clean. There's a tendency to fog up. There's some residential areas on the left as well. We're not visiting any of those today. We're not really going off any offshoot roads, as you can see. Just sticking with the main road. By the way, I've been enjoying a lot of the World Cup. How about you? Who are you backing for the FIFA World Cup 2022? I'm supporting Argentina. My wife is from Argentina, so I don't have no choice, right? One of the things I don't like about these areas is if you notice there isn't a set sidewalk, pavement, only on one side, and it's kind of iffy. On the other side of the road is actually none. I don't really care much for houses and their walls being built right up to the road. And there are no trees, no coconut trees, nothing, so it's just, straight concrete, which is not really inviting appearance for anybody, especially for tourists. Should be a lot of coconut trees and things to look at. Now we're going to turn it right in here in a moment because I believe it's called St. Peter's Church is in this area, and you can see the outer appearance of it. And although, yeah, that's the church there. Although it was nice to see, and I did come out and look. The day wasn't a good day for taking out my other GoPro and recording it. So I thought I would just come back another time. But it's a beautiful little church. You can't see it from here, but on the other side of that church is a large statue of St. Peter, which I believe is supposed to be the patron saint of fishermen as well, among other things. Those cars and people there came for, I believe, a Baptist ritual, which is often done near the sea or in the sea. I know I have seen them a lot of times, and when I was there, also when I came out of my truck, I also saw that they were going to perform some ritual. So the rain has more or less stopped to a drizzle. It's still irritating enough that I need to have my windshield wipers come on every now and again. The right is the ocean, and on the left is a lot of built up places that have their property up in the mountain. This part of the road I just really like. Seeing all the houses, how they're built, getting glimpses of the ocean and so forth. A lot of these private properties weren't here when I was a child. And the designs are really nice. The layout is really good. I'm sure they're quite expensive. The only thing I wouldn't like about living out here is, like I said, the one in way in and the one way out. There isn't any other exit. So if anything happened along this road, whether it be traffic jam or traffic accident or simply an annoyance of any sort, you would be trapped. You would not be able to take an alternative route to get to the rest of the West or to Port of Spain. And that's kind of scary at times because there are things like that that happen along this stretch and traffic builds up for miles. I believe the only left is called Seaview Gardens. In case you're wondering, all these little buildings on your left and your right are called snackets. It's like the local version of 7-Eleven. They sell drinks, snacks, chocolate, candy, whatnot. But it's not a set thing. It's not like a franchise. People just open up their own thing to make a living. I love going up and down these hills. So when was the last time that you have been in Trinidad? And when do you plan to make your next return? And is anything here recognizable? Does it all look so different? The road itself, I mean the path of the road, has never changed. Just that it's got a good pave, at least the portion to Shogunas did. CHAGUARAMAS, that is. Don't know why I say Shogunas. And unfortunately, I didn't have a sunny day to see this, but I uploaded the video for you because I know some of you just like seeing how things are now. Sometimes you get a little traffic build up, and that's what we're waiting for. I don't mind moving slow, but not a dead stop. That the area passing through now is called Point Kumana. A bar on the right is one of the probably say overused or most frequented bars in the area. I don't drink, smoke, use drugs of any kind, so all those things is a flat out no for me. As we cross this bridge, we're going into a place called Shorelands, which is on your right, and on your left is Glencoe. That place on the left is that's just like a supermarket, grocery, what have you. Of course, there's traffic everywhere, and traffic's built up a lot in these areas, especially because of the amount of shopping areas. And that's part of why traffic is sometimes happening, because somebody might be coming out of park or coming onto the road, it take forever to turn, all those things happen. Passing Glencoe on the left, again, Shorelands, another entrance on the right. The yacht club, that's where we just passed. And this road here would have normally taken us to Bayshore. So as we come past here, this would be Goodwood Park on your left, which used to be able to be seen, but it put a lot of shrubbery there to block it off. That's the entrance to Goodwood Park there on the left. As we leave Goodwood Park, we are coming into Westmorelands. Like I said earlier in this video, that's Westmorelands North, or just Westmorelands on the left. And on the right, we have Westmorelands by the sea. All of this is affluent areas, and the houses can be very spicy. Sometimes even landlords that want to rent their place would rent it only in US, which is totally weird for me. Sometimes you wait at these traffic lights long time because people can't. All these areas should have like an octopus or a flyover at least, but I don't know, the government never seems like they're anxious about anything. So I hope you enjoyed our trip today, and tell me what you think in the comments area. I'm just gonna leave you here to watch the rest of the video, and we're gonna finish off on COCORITE. I appreciate you watching. If you like this video, feel free to comment in the area, and you can also feel free to donate as well if you like, because your donations really help support what I do here on JB's Man Caves. Some of you gave a large donation recently, and I appreciate that. For those of you who still think about it, you can always go to jbsmancave.com and use the donate button there. I appreciate when people donate within the Google system, but Google takes a big chunk of that donation money for themselves. So it's really better to use my site, jbmancave.com, through PayPal, and you can send your donation that way. Really appreciate it. So thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed this ride in the rain all the way from COCORITE. to CHAGUARAMAS and then back again. Thanks so much for watching.